Morning. It's a little bit on the cool side. Let's see if it'll focus. Yeah, a little bit on the cool side this morning. Not too bad. Nobody's up yet. I'm not working today. We haven't cleaned up the backyard or all the sticks that the dog has carried around, or haven't mowed yet. I figured we let the dandelions eat, even though it doesn't look like the bees eat the dandelions. Although it doesn't look like there's any dandelions out there. There were last week. The sun must have brought them out. So what we're going to do this morning is, in my first video, I mentioned how my twig stove right here nested inside the pot that we made the bale for. Well, we're not going to use the bale right now, but we're going to talk about the twig stove. Some of you might have wondered what that is. So I'll get her opened up and I'll show you. Okay, so a twig stove is, for all intents and purposes, a tiny fire pit. And it consists of the base. Alright, I'm going to do this over my charcoal grill so that I don't set the back porch on fire. And a riser. And then this is the fire cup. It just sits down inside there. And then from there we have a few different utensils. We have either a small grate to cook on. We cooked hot dogs on that out on the trail one time. And we have a riser for the pot. And then, the pot will sit up on top of that, like so. Right? So, basically what you do is you get a small fire going inside of it. You have your kindling. Basically, you can cook with a much smaller fire than you would if you started a fire in a traditional fire pit. So we're going to heat up some water and we're going to French press some coffee. And we'll get this thing going here in just a second. Okay, so we're going to start with a nice tight bundle of pine needles and some small chips of wood. Mostly just flakes from when we split firewood out here in the backyard. So we're just going to drop them down in there like so. Not really sure how I'm going to light a match one-handed, but we'll give it a go. Wish me luck. Hopefully we won't set the whole porch on fire doing this. Let's set this over here. Here we go. Ready? And oh, the match went out. Lovely. Well, the match is now kindling. Okay. There we go. And we'll go ahead right away. We'll throw a little bit more kindling on there. And just slowly feed in some of our wood. And get a little fire going. It smells great, them pine needles burning. And just get a little fire going in here. Right? Because the logs all lean upward, the fire tends to take off really fast and burn really hot, but it also burns fuel fast, so you might want to have plenty of fuel handy if you decide to use one of these. By the way, they make these things out of titanium and everything else. This one is stainless steel, but I think I only paid like $25 for this. Usually you can get them much cheaper from that price on up, or you can even make something similar out of a coffee can if you wanted to. But the idea is let it burn down a little bit. Get a little fire going in here. Throw a few more pieces on there. That one's way long. That's going to take forever. And we'll let this burn down. I'll trim this fire up a little bit and come back and boil some water. Okay, so this is what we got. a little fire going on the pot. And obviously not using a bail this time, but some other time. You can see under there. It's really interesting when these burners start burning. If you can see inside there, there's holes all along the outside, and the fire actually comes up the outside of the chamber and forms like a rocket effect and boils pretty fast. You're already starting to see some bubbles forming on the bottom of the pot. It gets very hot. Again, that rocket effect. So we're gonna get the French press ready, because I'm already starting to see a little bit of steam coming off of that water. Let's see, let's test it. Not there yet. Mom always taught me that if you could stick your finger in something 3 times and it didn't burn, you were okay. It wasn't hot enough yet. So that served me pretty well in all walks of life. All right, we'll come back here in a minute. I'm not going to make you watch a watch pot. Okay, well, as you can see, it's steaming, almost boiling. This has just been a couple minutes. This probably will boil water in 5 minutes, if not less. So we'll pour this in. French press. I'd already thrown the coffee in there. All right. And we'll just let that burn down. And we already showed you how the French press worked. Basically what will happen is it'll take a few minutes, and this fire will burn down and it'll cool right off. And there'll be a little cup of ashes in there. Actually, they may just fall through into the barbecue. And we're all done. And that's how a Twig stove works. It's a pretty handy little item. You can cook or heat yourself, heat a small area, whatever, with literally any little twigs or sticks that you can find on the side of any trail in the woods. It folds up small, fits inside my cook pot. It's a handy item to have, inexpensive, and you always have fuel. I mean, you could cook on the side of the highway if you needed to. You don't have to be in the woods. Almost any place you can find a handful of sticks and do what you gotta do. All right. I don't know if I'm going to be doing these videos every week. I'll probably either get bored with it or run out of things to write about, or talk about. But till then, maybe we'll see you next week. Bye. And just a quick addendum on here. I know I've already said goodbye. Just want to show you. You can see my coffee is still steeping in the French press. I haven't pressed it yet. Actually, I have to give it a stir here first. But you can see the wood stove is just about burned out already, or the Twig stove. It happens that fast, which is one thing you have to keep in mind if you use something like this, is you have to have a lot of little bits of fuel to keep it going, because it burns really fast. Burns hot, but burns very fast. So maybe a couple of thicker pieces would last a little bit longer too. Just a little tip. We're going to, let's go ahead and give our coffee a little de-scum action. Oh. All right, put that down over there. And press it out. This is literally only the 3rd time I've done this, and 2 of them have been on video now. All right. My handy dandy Jeep cup a friend of mine bought for me for my birthday. Oh. Silly me. Can you see the opening? Should probably turn that to the pour. There we go. That's better. Save a little room for creamer because I drink coffee like a girl. Talk to you later. Everybody have a great day.